Hello, this is Flamingo, and I am doing a review on a band, and they're called the Proclaimers. The Proclaimers, if you do not know, are from Scotland. They are a twin duo, Charlie and Craig Reid, and they perform Celtic folk kind of music. And my review, well, basically what inspired me to do the review is I just bought an album by them called Life With You. It's not their newest album, it's from 2007. Notes and Rhymes was released just last year in 2009. But anyway, I bought Life With You, and I have 5 of their albums. I'm only missing 3, which is Notes and Rhymes, Restless Soul, and Persevere. But the rest of the albums by them I do have, so that is good. Alright, to basically my main proposition of this review is the Proclaimers are one of those bands where I think they should be bigger. To many people, they're one of those one-hit wonder bands, and that, of course, hit is "I'm Gonna Be 500 Miles." Everybody knows that song, and it's, of course, a huge classic, and it's a song I fell in love with, and that's how I discovered the Proclaimers. But to me, it's for surely not their only hit. I'm very happy because to most people, unfortunately, that is the only hit, but to a lot of other good listeners, "I'm on My Way" is another very high-profile song from their repertoire, and actually from their first album, "Letter from America" is another very line kind of song that they made from their first album, "This Is a Story." So I'm basically saying that the Proclaimers should be bigger, and they should have gotten more um, recommendation from people on like radio to listen to them, and just people more like fans and more bigger of a fan base. They do fairly well, I must say, and they do have a very loyal fan base. And me saying this again, a lot of my favorite bands are from UK or Europe, so they're bigger over there. But in North America, they're not the biggest thing in the world. And like Proclaimers, over here they are definitely like the one-hit wonder or the two-hit wonder kind of band. But for certain, the Proclaimers to me have made some of the greatest albums, and helped me through tough times. I remember one album, "Born Innocent," I listen all the time when I have a tough time and hit the highway. I listen to, and so yeah. So I actually am going to now go in order of the albums I have. Their first album was "This Is a Story." Oh damn, the light. But anyway, yeah, just trust me. The first album, 1987. This Is a Story, their first album, and it's acoustic, which I really like. I like that sound, especially if I'm really yearning for just them and their guitar, and occasionally Craig playing maracas or the bongos or harmonica. And I think, to some extent, I think their songwriting is the strongest on This Is a Story. I think that is where they were the strongest. They were going into more fields, and they were kind of showing, like they do with a lot of their albums, kind of the anger of them growing up in, not the greatest places, in political wise. So This Is a Story, I think, was a great way to start an album, and I think a good name for a first album as well. And it really pushed the Proclaimers. "A Letter from America" is on this album, and I think that pushed the Proclaimers into becoming, to many people, big in Scotland or in the UK. And also, I think the song was a big introductory to people in North America. So This Is a Story is, to me, a definite must listen to if you want to listen to Proclaimers, and it's a great way to start. And it's just a good album to listen to. Their second album, to many people, is their best one, which is "Sunshine on Leith." It has "I'm Gonna Be," and "I'm on My Way." And another big song is actually the title track, or the album track, "Sunshine on Leith." It is actually performed at I can't officially remember. I think it's a stadium anthem for a soccer team in Leith. They play it every time, so that it's big in over there. This album pushed the Proclaimers, of course, beyond where people were following them, and this was the album that, even I must say, I think that is the Proclaimers' masterpiece, was "Sunshine on Leith." And they actually had a band, and that was, I think, very important. I think they did have to move on from This Is a Story, where it was just them, and they actually had a full accompanied band. And I think that was very important for the Proclaimers to have, especially at that point, and especially to have "I'm Gonna Be" with an actual band, an actual 80s style. The album was released in '88, and I actually have a special edition of Sunshine on Leith. It has 4 bonus tracks of like King of the Road single with Long Black Veil, Lulu Selling Tea, and Not Ever that was released in 1990. Just a couple singles that they released trying to keep it real, I guess, in their repertoire. And I don't know what happened. I think they should have made an album with those 4 songs. Just came out with more songs, and I would have been happy, I bet, with what they would came up with. But anyway, yes. So I have the 16 songs of what would become like between '88 and '90. And so Sunshine on Leith, I guess, is you have to listen to it because it does have the footline songs of the Proclaimers. Next album is from actually my birth year, 1994, and that's Hit the Highway. And Hit the Highway is another album where I think it talks a lot about marriage life. Coincidentally enough, the first track on the album and their biggest hit from the album in UK was Let's Get Married. The album does deal, I think, with a lot of marriage tone to songs like, bless me, Follow the Money, Shout, Shout, Don't Turn Out Like Your Mother, Hit the Highway. You know, it has a lot of those songs kind of have a marriage tone kind of to it. And talks kind of like, you know, obviously this album was made 6 years after Sunshine on Leith, 4 years after their 4 singles that they made. You know, so it was a long time, so they most definitely, by that time, had probably settled down and gotten married. And so they had a whole new inspiration from when they were just young guys coming up and trying to make a difference in the music world. I think one problem, this could have been the problem where the Proclaimers, Hit the Highway did do well, actually, when it was released. I believe even in North America, they still had the fan base going on here. And especially the movie Benny and June was released, and the song I'm Gonna Be was in it, and it made the Proclaimer, that song, even bigger. And so Hit the Highway was actually a very well anticipated album by many people. But I think they were misled that time sometimes does not work. And people lose interest in as time goes on, because their next album was Persevere, which I do not have, unfortunately, and that was released in 2001, 7 years after the fact. Even for me, that's not going to cut. That's too long of a time, especially after Hit the Highway, which I find is a very well done album. And so even Persevere, I've listened to a couple, like, you know, all the songs, but not in full. It's okay. I'm gonna buy it one day, but I don't know if it's their greatest thing because I think they did wait too damn long. Then their next album was in 2003, which I do have, which is Born Innocent, and to me it's a huge rebel album. I think because, you know, if you actually listen to the lyrics, some of them are like, you know, kind of on the interesting fact, and I couldn't believe it. I bought that album when I was like 10 years old, and it was, you know, of course, since I had thick Scottish accents, so I didn't understand some of the things they were saying at the time. But when I was like, I remember when I was about in grade 7 or 8, I like kind of really got back into the Proclaimers. In that time, I of course re-listened to all the albums, and Born Innocent caught me by the biggest surprise that I listened to this when I was a kid, and it was just very huge subject matter, and it was really deep. And I think it was one of the deepest albums they've made in sense of lyrics and stuff. But they also have really nice love songs, which I think a lot of people like by the Proclaimers. I think they're really good at writing those good old love songs like I'm Gonna Be. And like the next album that I'm going to showcase, Life With You. Unfortunately, I do not. In 2005, they released Restless Soul. Now they have gone to that stretch where they do make an album every 2 years. That is a good thing. And Life With You actually did make the Proclaimers come back. Because unfortunately, Born Innocent and Restless Soul, Born Innocent is a fantastic album, and Restless Soul, I've heard Restless Soul, the song, and I love it, but I think it was because of the fact that they waited too long to release Persevere. It was really hard for them to try to rejuvenate the fan base again into knowing that they're going to release albums and songs by the Yin Yang. Life With You, with the title track, in fact, brought them back to that status, and the song Life With You had huge critical acclaim in the UK. And their new album, Notes and Rhymes, I've heard, again, just jot notes, and it seems pretty good. So leave your comments about the Proclaimers, and please look them up, and yeah, so thanks for your time, and yeah, thanks YouTube. I'll talk to you later.